And in fact, this leads me to thinking about the practice of change management itself, because there are two basics that all of us should have as change practitioners. And one is some fundamental change management theory. So you really need to know some of those key theories that are out there, those key tools and methodologies that some organizations have very specific ones that they like to follow, and other organizations, it'll be a little bit different. They all have something in common, but it's good to be familiar with them and be able to use that language and use those tools. But then there's also the piece about the practice. So I think having a foundational knowledge is important. And if you can get certification in some of those methods, that's something employers are always looking for, because the theory gives you direction, it gives you diagnostic tools, it gives you those proven methods that people can look to. But not every situation is as easy to diagnose or solve as it might appear in the classroom, or when you got your certification, or when you read that book, it seemed very clean and simple and everybody went along with it. That's where the practice comes into play. Getting that realistic understanding of like what's happening and what do I do when things inevitably take a turn. So you have to be able to read the room and understand how to apply those academic learnings to real world challenges.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. Theory is great. And again, it's always a good foundation. So I think certifications are valuable to all of us. And sometimes, that's the price for entry, right? Is, having to have a certification in a particular, methodology or approach. But then once you get into the work, as you say, it's really about the practice and having that breath. We talked, just a moment ago about sort of being open to different types of projects. That really is what will enable you to sort of expand that toolkit. And, there's that old adage that I often think about, where, if you have a hammer and that's the only tool you have in your toolkit, then you're out in the world looking for nails because, that's the trusty tool that, that you have sort of at the ready. Where if in taking our advice and what we're talking about here in terms of different types of projects and having a variety, then from a practical perspective, you have a lot of other tools in your toolkit that enable you to really look at the situation, as you said, sort of read the room. What does this situation really call for? And it may be a hammer, it may be a screwdriver or a chisel or an axe, or pick your tool of choice today. And having that variety really then enables you to tailor your approach and your tactics to really applying what is this particular situation really call for, and having the confidence. We talked about confidence just a little bit ago as well, that if the situation changes, then hey, okay, no problem, because I've got other tools that, I can bring out and I can apply, or maybe combine a couple of different tools together if that's what a particular situation needs. So I think having that breadth and that variety really serves us in a number of different ways in terms of increasing our confidence and our credibility with, leaders.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to think of it, there's something that's used a lot in manufacturing: plan, do, check, adjust. And that's part of sort of lean thinking and Six Sigma. But if you've got your plan and you've got your do, and a lot of people sort of stop there, and you really have to along the way check and adjust. And it's easier to adjust when you've got a lot more tools in your kit, when you're like, well, we could do something a little bit different. Let's think about that. And so it's that, to me, that practical application. Every time I work on a project, you start off with a plan, and that plan will always change, and you're going to have to sort of adjust it to the situation. So the more that you can do that, and the more you can be sort of ready for the practical application of those theories, and say the theory will only take you so far, and there's always going to be something that throws a wrench into your hammer.